welcome, welcome. Woo! Welcome to the OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition. I am Richard Raghubar saying it's Thursday and the weekend is creeping up on us, isn't it? Not that you would know anyway, because every day looks the same. What will you be doing this weekend? I'm coming to you from my city of Arima in Trinidad.
And I am Richard Young. Welcome, everyone. Thanks for joining us. And as usual, I'm coming to you from the beautiful valley, Maracas St. Joseph, right here in Trinidad. Or at the side of me, on the side of us, are these lovely young ladies who are going to introduce themselves.
Hey, I'm coming from Maracas Valley. So I'm so happy to be here.
Hi, I am
Cecilia.
I am coming from Vigo Martin, where the rain just stopped falling.
Hi, everyone. Cecilia here in Petty Valley, where the rain was falling as well. And I'm so excited to be here at OMG Live Quarantine Edition. Welcome, everyone, from around the world.
Woo! Of course, a very special welcome to the islands in the Caribbean and all of those around the world joining us today. And thanks for your comments and feedback. And of course, in case you're watching us from some other part of the world and watching all of us and saying, who are these gorgeous people and where they're from? We're from the islands of Trinidad.
OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition, is our way of coming together, talking and laughing and sharing and building a community at this time.
Yep, and as usual, we'll be playing games, woo! Listening to some music, checking out what's new and coming to your screens, and generally having some refreshing discussions. It is also Throwback Thursday. I bet you didn't know that because we didn't. And so it's Throwback Thursday. And so we have some vintage calypso to tax your memory in our game segment today. So all of you think all in all, Kaiso, hold on.
And good day to Stephen Duval at Master Control.
Oh.
Master Control in Cunupia.
From Cunupia.
Hi, Stephen.
Hi, everyone.
Please share this live feed on your timeline now. Please share it on your timeline now and select notify so you know when we are next on.
Absolutely. Now, during yesterday's show, we had some VIPs. And for those of you who are new and now joining us, VIPs mean some very important points of view from our Facebook viewers.
Yes, VIPs, very important points of view. First, we have Chantel Stan. The only thing constant about life is change. Once we accept this fact, the question now becomes how we approach the change. Human beings are dynamic creatures, and with support from each other and setting realistic goals and time frames, we all can do it.
Exactly. Who lives in says, well, we are seeing here in Netherlands, there's social distancing for the next 8. I believe that.
Wow.
Yes.
Creating content. They are school to continue to work. We are you
All showing, the television stations are all showing tutorials trying.
yeah.
But they're not exclusive. I wish that Channel 4, that station that's on the hill, that's been doing nothing for ages, I think they should be exclusively for school. You know, like from 9 to first year to standard 1, then from 11 to 2, you know, standard 1 to 3, and then, you know, I think they should be exclusively for, no, not just an hour or 2 hours. But.
Yeah, I'm hoping they're online too. I'm not too sure. I have to check because some people could use their have cable to get that information. So I'll check that out.
Yeah. Cool. Let's go.
All right,
on.
cool. Let's look at our social media fans. Yeah.
Roma actually sent a message. So Roma, our number 1 fan. Roma said it is since when the town of Arima became a city, Richard. You want to answer her?
Business, just answer.
Let me tell you how to people, Camille. Telford Trotman, Patricia Batiste, Aloy Johnson, Kirk Cambridge Delpesh, Richard Ambrose, Carleen Williams, Joanne Cogging, Molyneux, Dominic LaRosse, and John Michael Thomas. They all joined on quite early in our feed.
Hi.
John.
And Vonette is on. We miss Vonette, and she's here.
Hi,
Vonette. We miss you.
We love you, Vonette.
Yes, I saw that.
I saw that, Penny. I saw it.
And Dominic Roche is also there too.
What room I spent?
I did.
Richard.
What
I said, mind your business. I said, mind your business.
We also have Nolan from London. And we have someone from the Bronx, but I missed the name. So we have London and the Bronx in here. So hi to our people out there.
Yes.
Yep. So before we go any further with our show, we have today's sobering OMG Live COVID-19 update.
First, let's take a look at the latest World Health Organization figures.
Today, the worldwide COVID-19 infections has grown by 115,000 more infections to land at 2,115,600 from yesterday to today, has increased by about 13,000 souls who lost their lives overnight. So we have today 141,195 people who died because of COVID-19. The recovered has gone up 2,000 yesterday to now over 527,471. I always look forward to that number, so that's fantastic.
And in Trinidad and Tobago, our death toll remains at 8. We are holding at 114 positive COVID-19 cases, and our discharge has moved up to 20%.
Islands, of course, Jamaica. In Jamaica, so now Jamaica has overtaken Trinidad and Tobago, and they're now at around 125. I'm not so sure if they had any new cases today, but they were at 125. Barbados was at 73. So just giving you an idea of some of the larger Caribbean islands, English speaking, of course, in terms of what's going on there.
Yeah,
so there you have it, our latest COVID-19 figures. Yeah, it is. And in fact, we have with us online. What's that?
I'm just wondering about our debt. I just hope it never increases. I'm just thanking God and knocking wood and wood all the time. Yeah, sorry, Richard, go on.
Yeah, but well, if you go to World Meter, is it World Meter? I think it's World Meter.
Yeah.
Like John Hopkins gives an update, I think World Meter gives an update. But what World Meter does that John Hopkins does not do is indicate if there are any critical cases. Chindat's column. Yesterday, there were no critical cases. So that's great. So hopefully our death rate will not go up any further. I mean, at least we can hope, right? So that's our latest figures, but we have waiting online to speak with us. We have Aloy Johnson, a regular viewer to OMG Live. Hi, Aloy. And so we're going across to Aloy and say he's in Tobago. Aloy, welcome.
Hello, everybody. Mr. Richard Young, how are you today? Hi, everybody on the panel. And let me just say this real quick. I am actually hooked on the show. I am hooked on the show. Confession for the soul. I just can't get enough of you guys. And you guys are doing a wonderful job. Very informative and great energy. I love it. For anybody listening online or on the panel, which is more potent? The virus we are currently dealing with, the virus, or our inability / unpreparedness to deal with such pandemic? Because it would seem that we keep having a lot of inconsistencies where the virus is concerned. And I want to just put this in one time. People, do your own reading, do your own research, and allow that God-given brain and consciousness that you have to kick in naturally, so that you can make some decisions on your own. And I'm not anything bad. I'm not saying this to criticize, because I think our government, I think they're doing a wonderful job. I absolutely think that I think Dr. Rowley is doing a fantastic job, as our leader. Don't get me wrong. I am just asking that question because of a lot of inconsistencies that's coming from everywhere, and we are bombarded with a whole bunch of information. And I'm asking also, or I'm advising also, that we should not be inundated with all that. But let's answer the question: which is more potent, the virus or our inability, unpreparedness to answer such pandemic? I'm enjoying the show and I'm watching.
Wow. Well, thank you so much, Aloy. And of course, we will answer the question so you could listen. And if there's anything, we'll come back to you. But if not, we'll answer the question now. So I don't know, Camille, you want to go first in answering what Aloy asked?
Yeah. Such a wonderful question to ask this morning, because I think we as a people, we have to have a certain level of discernment now that never before to put in practice, because we have something called fake news that I don't think we understand the damage that is doing to tea. And what we as a people have to look at, if a particular government wants some other country to look bad, you would start to see all this fake news about this country, right? And the more powerful the country is, the more damaging the information that is coming out. So I'm not saying that this is wrong information. I'm saying that this is, society has its own propaganda. And we have to be able to go through that propaganda and take out what is good and what is not good. We also have to look at signs. So for instance, you will see often when news come up, fake news come up, it has the look of all of the other, like BBC. It has that BBC look, but it's not really BBC. Or it has CNN look, but it's not CNN. So we really have to have a level of discernment for us to go through that. So the question really is about, the answer to that question, of course, we can't answer it, but it is really about our interpretation of what is happening in the world, our ability to have that sense of discernment to pull out what is good and what is not good.
Yeah.
Penny, you have any thoughts?
Well, my whole thing is that I think that this virus brought to us in the world is two things that I'm noticing: the politics and the racism. I think those are two deadly things that is happening at the side. And those are two things that we have to watch as human beings and not get caught up in. Because as I was talking about yesterday, I'm really horrified about what is happening in China and the politics that people playing right now in Trinidad and even in America. That is what I'm really upset about, and I can't believe that that's the focus by some people now in this town.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Cecilia?
well, let's be quick. I just he's talking about whether the virus is the bad thing or our inability to deal with it. And I say thank God that our figures are low. Thank God that we listened and that the government acted quickly, because I don't know if our structures are ready to deal with it. I really don't know if our infrastructure would be ready to deal with it. We see the long lineups for people trying to access the social grants, so that's my thinking.
Well, I think it actually shows from our preparedness point of view that in terms of our digital infrastructure, which I've said before, it obviously COVID-19 has brought that to the forefront and shown that, look, is Trinidad digital infrastructure ready to deal with it? Our ability to work from home online, our ability to purchase things online and have them delivered. All of those things, the online infrastructure and how well it is utilized, even for government services. A perfect example is the whole issue of the salary grant, the rental assistance, and all of the other income support measures that the government is putting in place, and rightly so, to help people who need it. But even the government, in doing that, is not even using the digital space to do it. You still have to print out forms. You still have to line up and go to a bank to verify that your account is correct, and all sorts of things, which to me, quite frankly, is ridiculous. That it should have been purely an online platform, and you should have asked for the minimum amount of things that people could do and submit the form online. That's my opinion. Of course, people are free to disagree, but the mere idea that you have to print out a form and do all of that outreach, to me, is indicative of how prepared we are to deal in a digital way with things that we should be efficiently be able to do in a crisis.
Yeah.
So that's how I see it.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to look and see what social media is saying, Camille and Richard. Yeah, Richard Young?
Kirk Cambridge. He also asked, how does one discern what is fake news and what is real? And that's a good question. It's really difficult to ask now. Aloy Johnson, or should I say Megan Francis Carrington, says New York shutdown gone to May 15th. So we just got a bit of news there. Marie Millett, she just came on the show and saying hi. And Kirk is also now saying, guys, please know that the figures are lower due to reported numbers, not actual because of our countries, not because our countries are not mass testing. So a lot of deep discussion that probably need a bigger platform.
Yeah.
Take it.
Yeah, well, we have Richard Ambrose was just mentioned too in St. Lucia. They're going into the schools are going to reopen on Monday, but for virtual learning. They haven't been doing that before. The sixth forms, I think, had continued with their schooling. So this is something new that's going to happen from Monday. And yes, and I want to say shout out to some new people: Patsy Joseph, Cassandra Pemberton, Nigel Friday, Sweden, Stafford Vla, Christine Johnson is on, and Shelford Trotman said he is cooking corned beef and cabbage.
Rainbow corned beef.
Corned beef.
I was just looking at a note from Roma. Roma said, my business is the tongue of Arima, bro. The only royal chartered borough in the Caribbean. It's no city, is a tongue. Okay, viewers, don't bother with Richard Ragu. I tried to say it in the tone that Roma would usually say. Sorry.
Thank you, Penny. Thank you.
Yes, Ma Spencer. Put me in the place.
Let's move along now and head to that space that Richard likes so much, the other Richard. Meanwhile, at TikTok.
One thing I must say about TikTok people, is that they don't miss a beat. Because we recently had a very famous Trinidadian personality, or infamous, depending on your point of view, who made a huge song and dance about being COVID-19 positive. I'm not mentioning any names. And then a bacchanal about not being released when he expected to be released. Here is a take from his most recent drama on TikTok.
It don't make me flipping trip here, you know. What if, why, you want to get me mad in here or what?
The amount of memes they have coming up with that,
He's famous.
I have seen about 20. Yeah.
I swear. I know, but I swear Trinidad and Tobago has more colorful characters per capita than anywhere on planet Earth. I swear.
Indeed. Indeed, Richard.
Speaking about colorful characters.
Agree. Yeah, weird.
Well, I keep getting all these fashion faux pas to interview. So here goes. Santi was invited to a wedding reception. So she put on her best baby pink satin ruffle dress, stunning gold necklace. And Uncle, who escorted she, was dressed in his dapper full baby blue number. And they hit the dance floor.
Love it. Whoa. What's that? Where was that?
Okay.
They were playing soccer.
That's great.
Okay. I enjoyed. I don't know. I don't know.
That's great.
That looked like a dress. That looked like a dress she had since confirmation, and she whip it out.
I was gonna say, Richard, that looked like a wedding I went to in Arima.
Oh my God. Cut Cecilia Sanders, that's Mike, please. Just cut Cecilia Sanders, that's Mike. All right. Well, in these quarantine times, many people have been thinking some very unholy thoughts about their better halves. Well, this lady got a taste of her own medicine. Watch this. What is that? I don't know. I don't know.
She poisoned herself.
You don't taste this.
You don't taste your poison.
Penny.
You don't taste the poison.
You don't taste
all the women in this. So all the women on the panel know about not tasting the poison.
I don't taste it.
It's called
spirit and leave.
Oh God. All right.
That was TikTok. That was TikTok people and passing. That was how TikTok people are passing the time. Let's jump into our next trending today topic. What's trending, Stephen?
Well, before we go into this topic, I want to remind you, our online audience who on Facebook right now, you too can send us your thoughts. Just email your video clips. You can send video clips or your voice notes to info@e.com with your name and contact information. Are you hearing me? Your clips or voice notes to info@omgtt.com with your name and contact info. All right? Use it. We want to see all there. We want to hear what all they have to say. Trending, Richard.
Get some thoughts. Yeah, let's get some thoughts. Let's Penny, give us what's on your mind. Penny, for your thought. What's trending with you?
Mind? We were talking about something else. What was it we were going to talk about? I can't remember. But what has been trending?
Doing well with the being home and not working, large families and
economy.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We were thinking about the families that have been out there and they have one person working in the family and then that person is out of work, and how are they coping and what relief are they getting? I mean, I look at TV and see that they have all kind of giveaway, food given away, people just driving up in the car and food being deposited in the car. And I don't know if we have anything like that in Trinidad. And that is going to become real disturbing very soon, because I mean, we only had about 1 month without work, but just now we are going to see a lot of families in distress. And what are we doing to ease the burden? I mean, nobody has nothing really. I mean, and I think about myself, I am at odds to what I'm going to do to make some kind of financial recovery today. I mean, today my credit card people call me, but there are people who are worse off than me, and I'm really wondering what are we going to do as a society to help them.
Yeah.
Well, the whole income support is what's go on, Cecilia. The whole income support that was supposed to address that, Penny, and even addressing people in the entertainment industry, the creative industry like ourselves, and whoever else is in that gig economy, in addition to people who would have lost their jobs at bars and restaurants and et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. The process is a little bit too overly bureaucratic. That's part of the problem. So you ask, because the policymakers or the bureaucrats who came up with the forms and the process, how to do it, didn't think it through, in my opinion. They're so busy trying to look at how to prevent anybody scamming. You hurt people who need the funds now, who needed the funds a week ago.
Yes, exactly. Look, here are the forms that I have printed out. I had to put on the hazmat by my mother to get her to let me print it out. It's 6 pages. I have to get references, but I have it all here, and I'm going to try and apply for it. But it's such a long and tedious process, exactly as Richard is saying. What about the hampers? What about giving out to people? The agricultural sector now complaining because people with food cards are only using it or can only use it in certain groceries and outlets. So how are they going to survive? Who's buying the local produce?
What I think that because I'm seeing on internet a lot of farmers saying that they have all these crops and they're going to waste, or poultry people have all these chickens and they're going to waste. So why don't the social development or whatever ministry just buy these products and give it away to at-risk families? That's a start, because that form and getting that money gonna giving out, yeah.
Exactly.
So
we agree.
Internationally, what's trending, and that is really, really sad, and I think it's important to mention it here, because we have people on our Facebook group right here from Miami, from Florida, from New York, from all over the world. And what's trending internationally that is really sad is the homes for the aged, and the fact that a lot of these homes, there are a lot of more deaths than previously known, and the deaths weren't included. So I think it is in New Jersey that they found 18 bodies in a morgue that's supposed to have 5 in a home. And these are only now being reported. So that is a trend that is a very disturbing trend. And personally for me too, because I have a family member in a home like that in New York, and I have a friend in a home like that. It's hitting home, and it will affect all of us. I don't know what's going to happen locally though regarding that.
Yeah, because in the UK they said that the figures are proven to be not real figures, because a lot of people have died at the care centers for the aged, and a lot of them have been COVID related, but they weren't acknowledged in the statistics that were given before. So generally, that is a problem with the age. I wanted to add to what Penny was saying, because one of our viewers, Shelford Trotman, is in North Carolina, and he said just today the poultry farms decided to give away 40 pounds of chicken, and there are huge lines for this. So yeah, and somebody said yesterday a lot of the dairy produce was being thrown away. So we really need to address that and give it out instead of having it being wasted, you know?
Our poultry farmers said that they are freezing it. That's what I heard them say, that they're going to be freezing the excess that is not going to be used.
No, the government should buy it and give it to people, buy it at a less cost. Because I don't know, all freeze up chicken in September. People all freeze up chicken. I want fresh chicken now. So let the government buy it.
I find so even if they give us some live chickens, I would keep it in my yard. Some live chickens, I would keep them.
Whatever. Just make it work.
Yeah, absolutely. So you want to take some social media shout outs? Let's look at what's going on social media between Richard and Camille.
Okay, so Kirk says yesterday they adjusted the counts 2 days ago to include those deaths that we were just talking about. Shelford Trotman said she's helping. She's cooking for her neighbors. I cook for my neighbors here too.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Excellent.
Latoya, credit card calling and asking when you're coming in to pay. Insensitivity, she says. And someone from Vancouver, British Columbia, Heather Spencer, just tuned in and enjoying the show. Richard, you seen any?
Yeah.
Hi, Vancouver.
I'm seeing several places are giving out food stuff. Churches and other groups from Megan Carrington saying that, yeah, there are some places where churches are giving out food. Yeah, she didn't give a location actually, but she just stated that. Yeah. So that's it from.
All right, people. So guess what? It's time to play. Let's play that game.
Well, it's Throwback Thursdays here at OMG Live. This game is for all the lovely people who join us every day and who are participating online. So guys, are you ready? Today we have some music clips to test your memory. We will play from Vintage Kaiso, and you will have to tell us the name of the song and the singer. If you get the answer right, you get to ask anyone on the panel just one question. If you don't, you will learn something new. So are we ready? Our first clip, please.
When the Yankees first went to Trinidad, some of the young girls were more than glad. They said that the Yankees treat them nice, and they give them a better price. They buy rum and Coca-Cola when down Point Cumana, both mothers and daughters.
Working for the
That's easy. That's the name and the singer. Not the song and the
And of course, if you win, you get an opportunity. As of that, and if, of course, if you win, you get a chance to ask one of us on the panel here a question. So, is there anybody that's not that difficult? People supposed to know that.
No.
The singer is
No.
Yeah, man.
No answer.
He gave it away.
The name of the song is
No
easy.
answer,
Singer is the challenge.
Right.
Yeah.
We're moving on?
Yeah.
I love this song.
Teacher Percy said if you tell a lie. Which one, Roma?
Rum and
She got the first
Coca-Cola,
one.
Lord and Vader.
Oh, congratulations. Yay.
Rum and Coca-Cola.
Yay, Roma.
Lord and Vader.
Page said roaring lion, lie. Is that correct?
Nope.
Not
No, no, that's wrong.
Okay.
Wrong
Not
name too.
wrong.
So a little.
Okay, Roma has the answer. Roma has the answer again. You know, you want to give somebody else a try.
I know.
I think
She would have the answer for all.
All right. Okay.
Well, Roma doesn't have the correct answer. She has the correct singer, but she doesn't have the correct name of the song. Yeah. For the second one.
Yeah.
Please. Okay. And Anderson Morris says, "This is Lie Nelson."
No, correct singer, wrong name. Correct singer, wrong name of the song.
But he's the closest so far.
Roma Spencer.
Aloy Johnson has it's a long name, right? Teacher Percy, yes.
Teacher Percy's
By Nelson.
If you tell a lie.
Aloy,
No.
the chorus.
The whole chorus. Chanel Padmore Nelson, you lie.
No.
No.
Oh my God. So Roma, you can ask one question.
That's good.
Let's go to the third one and see if somebody else.
Wow, that's easy, and that's a classic. Well, they're all classics, but that.
We'll get this.
Yes.
Well, true. Yes.
The thing.
I will give a hint. That's what it's from.
Trouble, Lord Kitchener.
Lord Kitchener.
Janine Caesar.
Pharaoh Trouble.
She's
Trouble,
close.
Lord
She's
Page
close. She has the
says
singer.
Trouble.
No.
Nigel Holder says Trouble by Kitchener.
No.
So it's Kitchener's correct, but the actual name is not just Trouble.
Harewood. We have a winner. Wayne Harewood. Trouble in Arima by Kitchener. Wayne Harewood.
Trouble.
Let them know all three.
Trouble.
Let them know the official names for all three.
All right, so the names are Lord Invader, Rum and Coca-Cola, 1943. Richard.
The second one, Lord Nelson, King Lion, 1977.
King Lion.
And Lord Kitchener is Trouble in Arima, 1954.
Trouble in Arima still.
So one was 1943, one was 1977, and one was 1954. In none of those years was I even sperm.
Right. Let's move along.
Yeah, right.
No questions from anybody.
Any questions?
Any questions? Winners are entitled to ask us a question. Anybody asking any questions? Camille, Richard Young, anybody?
Roma has to ask, and Wayne Harewood has to ask, and we didn't give somebody the second win.
Roma says
nobody
got to stop
Shelley and Noel, I would say. Shelley and Noel had the liar by Nelson. So those three people can.
No, nobody said King Liar.
Okay.
Oh, yes.
All right. So while we wait for people to ask questions, while we wait for people to ask questions, let's move on and we'll check out our next segment, OMG Live on your screen.
Actor Tom Hardy, who also starred in Venom recently, is now starring as the famed mobster Al Capone, who died in 1947 at the age of 48 following worsening health due to syphilis. Here is the trailer. Tom Hardy as Capone, Scarface.
How about it for our good friend Al, ladies and gentlemen?
Hitler's dead. Capone lives like a king in Florida.
He has full-blown dementia.
I have reason to believe it could all be an elaborate act.
What's this about?
We have information that your client may have tucked away a very large sum of money.
You can drop the act now. You got goons walking around.
Guys like you own this place $10 million. Maybe I can get him to talk.
He's gonna go on a rampage.
We made it. Someday we was gonna make it big.
The only thing that really matters is how a man treats his family.
I'm wondering how much of that is true. It's so dramatic. It looks so dramatic.
It looks interesting. I love it. I love biopics.
Yeah. And that's where you gotta name
it. Looks like finally something I want to see.
There's a question.
We have a question from Wayne.
From Wayne here. Go ahead, Camille. Go ahead.
So Wayne asked, I'm not sure what he asked, what do you envisage Carnival 2021 to look like? Who want to take it?
Virtual Mark.
We want to cry?
Virtual Mark. Everybody is going to dress up in their costume and dance in front of the camera.
Oh my God.
Buy a costume and dance in front of your camera.
Oh my God.
I see these people having house parties where they put a speaker, one person would stays in their yard and parties. So we'll have to do that. You know, you put a speaker in the community and everybody stay in their yard and jump up in their costumes.
I don't see our 2021 carnival happening at all. I think we have to be realistic. It's not going to happen because even if things change, that distance and wearing of masks, which is part of carnival anyway, will have to remain. So it can't be the same as 2021. So we just need to be realistic.
Say don't teeth, she win twice. Roma say don't teeth. Roma say all your teeth and she win twice. But we're just giving another person a chance. And there's Latoya Charles Borrell who said King Lionel. So Roma, you're still entitled to a question, but we're just giving another person a chance because we know how adept you are at these things. Latoya Charles Borrell, you may ask a question. Yeah.
Right.
Question.
Question is, what advice do you give someone hurting due to emotional abuse? Who does Latoya want to send that to? Or who wants to take that?
Could you repeat that question, please, Camille?
What advice do you give someone that is hurting due to emotional abuse? And I'm assuming around this time also, where you don't have much, opportunities to reach out.
Escape.
Anyone, she says. Anyone can take it.
Well, I'm just if you're going through emotional abuse, you need to sit down, come to terms with yourself that you do not want this anymore. First of all, it must start with you saying to yourself, I do not want to accept this abuse. And as long as you accept that and you believe that and you really, really want to stop it or end it, you have to find, the social ministry, social affairs ministry, they have lots of outlets. Talk to a friend, find an outlet that you can write, make a call and talk to somebody and to get out, because I believe if you don't want something, you have to get out. You have to find a creative way to get out, because nobody needs to be unhappy in their lives. Too much nonsense going on in the world to be sitting down and taking emotional abuse, emotional, physical, whatever kind of abuse. Nobody deserves that. So find a way, accept that you want to be out of this. That start with you first. It must start with you. You have to say,
Family in Action, I think might still be. I think Family in Action might still be open to phone calls. I would also suggest, Latoya, and I know this is probably for other people, but I would suggest get an exit strategy. Plan that quietly. Nobody but yourself need to know what that is. Plan an exit strategy so that when this happens, there's a way that you can get out, whoever is listening out there.
And a lot of people are scared. A lot of people are scared to leave during this COVID-19 crisis, to get out. They feel alone because nobody wants a new person in their home. So everybody's like, where do I go? How could I go into this house now in this time? But I really hope that our ministries are looking at that, because that could be a thing next couple of months if we're going to continue till September. People wanting to leave, and where are they going?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Another question.
Because
Roma Spencer's question is in. What is the situation at home regarding Matt making demands on the government on how to conduct their virtual media conferences? Yeah.
She wants to know what Richard Ragu thinks about that.
Yeah.
Yes,
about Matt? I looked at the Matt statement last night. I looked at the Matt statement last night on social media, And I looked at the comments after the statement, and mercy, the comments were vitriolic and rabid. So I went back to the statement because I always, like to pause and not immediately jump into an emotional reaction about situations. And I went and I read it. And I felt that Matt made some valid points and had some valid concerns with regard to what they felt was retarding their ability as journalists to do their job. So I felt some of their points were pretty valid. I don't know how much the communications ministry would actually take those points under consideration. I know Trinidadians and Tobagonians have a lot of commentary about the press briefings and a lot of people saying, oh, why the reporters are asking such stupid questions? They're not listening. They're repetitive. You know what? Reporters and journalists come from us. They come from us. And sometimes some may be less strong than others, but they're out there trying to do a job. I think some of them ask valid questions. Some may ask weak questions. But it just seems to be, Trinidad gets into a mood where everybody kind of says the same thing. So it's common now to hear people saying, oh, those journalists don't know what kind of questions to ask. And people who are not even watching the press briefings have that opinion. They're not even listening to what the people are asking. Everybody has that opinion. So several people have that opinion. All of a sudden, that's the normal opinion to have. So I try to wade past all of that and say, look, are they making valid points as journalists? And I felt some of the points were valid, and I felt some of them should be given consideration. For example, the issue of having separate briefings for different areas like Ministry of Agriculture, public utilities, different things that people need to know about in terms of what's happening with water as the dry season is getting hotter and hotter, things like that. I felt the issue of cutting off reporters and mics when they may have follow-up questions is a valid concern for a journalist. Because I may need to tell you, hey, you didn't answer my question. You didn't answer it.
And
so shutting off the mic and going to somebody
answer.
else. Yeah. So I felt there were some valid concerns.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
I agree with everything you said.
So,
yes, Richard.
This leads us to our next segment, and it's called No Penny. It's not one of those times. It's sometimes my phone goes mad. It's not going mad this morning. So this afternoon, sorry. So this leads us to our next segment. So I was thinking.
Wow. Yeah, we have been thinking about so many things today.
I was just thinking quickly that Chris Kumo's wife, Catherine, she got the COVID virus too. So that's what I'm thinking. Yes, it's so sad, but they're gonna rally and make this better. That's my quick thought.
Yeah.
My thought was
I was thinking along the same lines. I was thinking along the same lines of what Richard was saying about everyone having a right to speak out. I'm thinking of Miss Miles recently and citizens. We have a problem. So if you have a concern, it's our right to speak out, and it's the ministry's right to listen and respond. And it doesn't have to be always about politics. We just want answers, and we can work together.
My thought was a simple thought about the time that we're in now, because I hear the president in the United States talking about democracy, but it's with a kind of insular kind of thinking, because wanting to pull funding from the WHO at a time like this is really speaking to individualism at its worst. And this is a time for collective cooperation. This is a time for building camaraderie. This is a time for collaborating for the global community. And so thinking in an insular way, in fact, I was hearing a lot of comments like that on BBC this morning, and they were talking about the fact that it has to be a global approach to how we look at diagnostics, how we look at how we get out of this. And my addition to that is that we need to envisage a new future, and it's not about going back to the old one. So it needs a lot of forward thinking, and it's not about us just looking to see when we can resume. I think that 2020 marks the beginning of 21st century thought. 21st century living begins now. We were living the last 20 years. It's a continuation of the last century, basically. So it's now to start a new world order.
Yes.
Exactly. I was thinking that we have 224 village councils in Trinidad and Tobago, right? I did some research, found that out. We have these community centers, 224 throughout. They have space in there that these community centers could be used to deal with the issue of children who don't have access to Wi-Fi and who don't have access to computers. That these 224 community development could work in hand with the Ministry of Education to create that solution for rural areas in Trinidad and Tobago. I think they're already built, there's space for that, but what we would need now is for organizations like Be Mobile, Digicel to put Wi-Fi in these community centers, for Microsoft and all these other agencies who they have corporate social response money and create labs in these community centers so that we could deal with that issue when it comes to children and parents not having access to those things.
Wow. Yes. So what about interdependence?
Yeah, thanks. Yeah. Thanks a lot,
Great.
all of you guys. I was just thinking when theater could start back, because my friend Nikki Crosby posted that in the last pandemic, it took 2 years for people to feel comfortable to go back to theater, and that is madness. That is all I was thinking.
Okay.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah.
can we now see what's going on social media, please?
We're running out of time.
Right.
We're running out of time. Gotta wrap.
Yeah. Not much going on. People are saying they enjoyed. Yeah.
Wrap.
Social media. Yeah.
Well, that's it, Richard.
Okay, so that's it, folks. Yeah, that's it, folks. Thanks to those who watched and looked and took part. Please, you want our viewers to join us. Send us your comments, voice notes, or a video clip of your thoughts and perspectives, and email it to info@omgtt.com so we can share it on OMG Live, the Quarantine Edition. Thanks to Aloy Johnson for joining us live from Tobago today.
Thanks to our OMG crew of Stephen Duval, Master Control. Thank you. Today we leave with one of the most prolific calypsonians of our times, a national treasure. Prayers and love from all of us here at OMG. In the background, you're hearing Black Stallion with Nothing Come Easy. This was from 1982. And before we leave, we want to ladies to say something to say that.
Bye.
I just want to say
bye.
I want to say bye to the Black Stallion. We love you from Miss Miles.
Bye. All our love and love. Come back tomorrow. Tomorrow we're here.
Bye-bye.
I want to say hi to my sister Nyla, who had joined us at one time. Hi, Nyla. So join us the same time tomorrow at same place. Sign in to OMGTT on Facebook. And thank you again, everyone. And as we say always, OMG, let's be kind to each other, TNT.
And the world.
How it come you don't know?
You don't care how the thing go. But if you read about Uriah, you go find out about the pressure. How they catch so much whole hell. Get a penny from TLL. Black man got to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. You got to take up your own cash money. Pay people for your own refinery. Black man got to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. Make up your mind to be a magician, scrap iron. Black man got to keep on jamming. For black man to get a little something. So when you're here, you get your little something. With a dragon and you keep marking. Because I don't tell you already. Black man don't get nothing easy.